Imagine arriving in a new town, having fled the horrors of war. You've lost everything: your home, your possessions, your sense of security. The faces you see are unfamiliar, the language a confusing jumble of sounds. Fear is a constant companion, and you feel the wary glances of the locals, a wall of suspicion separating you from this new world. This was the reality for one family, a small, scared group huddled together, their eyes reflecting the trauma they had endured. They had nothing but each other and the faint whisper of hope for a safer future. The world around them felt cold, not just from the weather, but from the isolation. Every day was a struggle, a battle against despair in a place that didn't yet feel like home. They were strangers in a strange land, their future an unwritten page filled with uncertainty. It was on one of those chilly afternoons that Lisa, a mother from the local church, saw them. They were standing outside a community center, their shoulders slumped, their faces etched with exhaustion and worry. As she looked at them, a powerful feeling stirred in her heart. She wasn't just seeing strangers. She was seeing a family just like her own, in desperate need of warmth and kindness. A verse she knew well echoed in her mind: God so loved the world. Not just her world, not just her country, but the whole world. That meant every nation, every person, including this family standing right in front of her. It wasn't a complicated theological concept at that moment. It was a simple, profound truth. Love wasn't meant to be confined by borders or languages. It was meant to be given, to be shared, especially with those who felt most alone. That tug on her heart felt like a divine invitation, a call to turn her faith into action. She knew she couldn't just walk by. In that moment, standing in her car, Lisa bowed her head and whispered a simple, heartfelt prayer. Lord, please use me. Show me how to love them. It wasn't a prayer for a grand plan or a huge donation. It was a prayer of availability, an offering of her own hands and heart. With that prayer still on her lips, she got out of her car and walked towards them. It was a step of faith, a step into the unknown. She didn't have a perfect plan, but she had a willing spirit. She invited them into her home. That simple invitation was the key that unlocked everything. Soon, her home was filled with the aroma of a warm meal, a stark contrast to the cold they had felt outside. She gathered clothes for them, practical items that whispered, "You are cared for." More than that, she began to teach them English, patiently sounding out words, bridging the gap of communication one syllable at a time. Her home became a sanctuary, a place where they could finally breathe, a place where fear began to be replaced by a sense of safety and belonging. With this foundation of love and stability, the family began to not just survive, but thrive. The father, with renewed confidence and some help from new friends, found a job. It was more than just a paycheck. It was the restoration of his dignity, his ability to provide for his family once again. The children, who had been so quiet and withdrawn, started attending school. Their laughter soon filled the hallways as they made friends and discovered the joy of learning. They were no longer just the refugee kids. They were classmates, teammates, and friends. As they felt more comfortable, the family started to share their own culture, cooking their traditional foods, sharing stories and music from their homeland. It was a beautiful exchange, a reminder that they had so much to offer. Their home was no longer silent. It was a vibrant mix of languages, laughter, and life. They were rebuilding their lives, piece by piece, on the solid ground of acceptance. When Lisa shared the family's story with her church, something amazing happened. The spark of her individual action ignited a community-wide fire of compassion. People didn't just hear a sad story. They saw an opportunity to live out their faith. The church rallied together, transforming from a congregation into a massive extended family. One family brought groceries, another helped with transportation to appointments. Others offered tutoring for the kids or simply spent time with them, offering the priceless gift of friendship. It was a beautiful picture of the church in action, a body with many parts all working together to love and support. The refugee family was no longer an isolated unit. They were woven into the fabric of the community. They were invited to potlucks, birthday parties, and holiday celebrations. They had found not just a safe place, but a true home, surrounded by a family bigger than they could have ever imagined. This story is a powerful reminder of a simple truth. God's love extends to every single person on this planet. When we see a stranger, someone who is different from us, we have a choice. We can see them with suspicion, or we can see them as Jesus would, with compassion and an open heart. He taught us to welcome the stranger, to care for the vulnerable, to love our neighbors as ourselves. This isn't just a nice idea. It's a call to action for each of us. Love has no borders, no visa requirements. It's a universal language that everyone understands.